Hello, I'll be talking on uh, the construction, working, and characteristics of the electronic device. In this particular section, I'll be talking on the construction, working, and characteristics of the transistor, transistor, which we call as bipolar junction transistor or a BJT. Contents that I'll be sharing with you all is the construction of the BJT, working of BJT, and characteristics of BJT. Construction of an BJT. So here you can see it is constituting of a main base crystal structure, and in it there is a collector, base, and emitter. So all these three layers are formed on the substrate, and they are integrated by using a integration technology or the development technology for developing this device, which is called as a bipolar junction transistor. And here three leads are taken out. You can see in this figure, which is termed as a base, collector, and emitter. These are the leads which are connected to that. So now when the two materials are separated, or two leads are separated, they are separated by a junction. So between P and N, here this is an base to emitter junction, and between above P and N, it is a base to collector junction. Here two types of transistors are shown, NPN and PNP. So construction, three doped semiconductor regions separated by a PN junction in epitaxial planar region. This is called as an epitaxial planar region, which is in a vertical direction. Then three regions are called emitter, base, and transistor. Physical type of representations are shown in figure. NPN and PNP transistor. The term bipolar is referred to use both holes and electrons as a current carrier in transistor. In PN junction, the base to emitter region is called base emitter junction, and PN region joining the base to collector junction is called base collector junction. The wire leads connect to each other of this junction. These LEDs are referred as emitter, base, and collector. The base is lightly doped, emitter is heavily doped, and collector is lightly doped. Then transistor symbols, here we are using NPN and PNP. The flow of the current in NPN is from base to emitter, and flow of current in PNP is from emitter to base. After dealing with these 3-4 slides, what are the things you have learned? The types of transistor according to the structure. They are NPN and PNP. The three terminals that you have come across are emitter terminal, collector terminal, and base terminal. What are the things that separates the PN junctions called, that is the base to emitter junction, and emitter to collector junction, or base to emitter junction, sorry, base to emitter junction and base to collector junction. So these are the two junctions that are separating the three regions in BJT. So working or the biasing of the transistor, here the forward bias condition is shown for a transistor. forward biasing. Here we have applied the base to emitter forward bias, and here we have used a reverse bias between the collector and base junction. So due to this, what will happen is that the emitter junction being heavily doped, there will be a extensive amount of electron carrier flow from the emitter to the base junction. Now when they enter into the base junction, these heavily charged electrons will um, unite with these holes, and due to which a minority current will start flowing into the base lead of this particular diode configuration. So when it moves in the upstream direction, the majority current flows from base to collector. So in this way, your current flows in the external circuit, which is referred as a collector current. This is the working of your transistor. Next, PN transistor. In the similar way, your PN transistor is conducting. For PN transistor, PNP transistor, base to emitter junction is forward bias, base to collector junction is reversed bias. Yeah. So total current, if you take this particular thing as one node, so you will observe that by applying a Kirchhoff's current law, you will observe that the current entering into the node is the sum of the two currents flowing out of the node. That is, IE is equal to IB plus IC. Same thing is applicable in your symbolic representation. Here this represents your physical transistor structure. BJT characteristics. You apply the KCL in this condition. This is your, assume that this is a node. So total current flowing out of the node is the sum of the two currents entering the node. So IE is equal to IB plus IC. Beta DC is the current gain, which is defined as the uh, base current ratio of the base current upon the collector current. Alpha is the AC current gain, which is defined as the ratio of AC current gain, AC collector current gain to AC emitter current. And HFE is the DC current gain once again. So transistor as a DC model, we will see IB is the DC base current, IC is the DC collector current, and IE is the DC emitter current. VCE represents the DC collector to emitter voltage. VBE represents the DC base to emitter voltage. And VCB represents the DC collector to base voltage. So transistor DC analysis. Here what is done is that the maximum voltage between the base and emitter, that is the forward bias voltage of this particular junction, base to emitter junction, is 0.7 volts, because we are considering a silicon NPN transistor. So Kirchhoff's voltage law, you apply Kirchhoff's voltage law in the base junction here, and you will get an current IB, which is VBB minus VBE upon RB. Then we happen to find out the voltage VCE, apply KCL in the output loop, KVL in the output loop, which will give you VCC minus VRC. So ICRC substitute over here, and you will be able to find out the voltage VCE. Here it is shown, where the collector current is a product of the base current, DC current gain into the base current. So voltage across the reverse bias, which is reverse bias now? Reverse bias VCB. So reverse bias voltage is VCE plus VBE. So VCE is given by VCC minus ICRC. So in this way, the complete transistor analysis, DC analysis is performed. First step, apply KVL in the input circuit to find out the base current. Second, apply KVL in the output circuit to find out the voltage VCE and the current IC. Then lastly, you find out the reverse bias voltage, that is VCB. So this will complete your DC analysis of the transistor. Here, small problem for your practice. You have to perform the DC analysis of the given circuit. So determine base current, collector current, emitter current, and all the voltages across the junctions, that is VBE, VCE and VCB. VCE and VCB. Follow the same step that you have been listening to when we were doing the DC analysis of the transistor, and you will be able to plot the output characteristics. So output characteristic is first step. How do we perform the measure the output characteristic? We have to set one input parameter, that is IB, as a constant and vary the output voltage VCE and measure the current IC. So for keeping the input current constant, the procedure to be followed is fix the input voltage to some few volts, so that your junction is, so that the junction between the base and emitter is forward biased by 0.7 volts. Measure the current IB across the resistance RB. Keep it constant till all the points have been plotted on the graph, and repeat the procedure for other base current, that is 10 microampere, 15 microampere, 20 microamperes and 25 microamperes. So what happens is that you will get three regions of the transistor, working three region. This is the active region, this is your saturation region, and the one below VCE is nothing but a cutoff region. Now suppose the question arises, when base current is 0, where will be that leakage current line? So it will lie exactly over here. It will lie over here. Like, here will be your IB equal to 0. Means transistor in cutoff region. So when do we say that transistor is in cutoff region? When base to emitter junction is, base to emitter junction and base to collector junctions are reversed bias, And when you are applying a voltage VCC, you will happen to find out that some leakage current flow. Then in that situation, your transistor is in cutoff. So outline of it, the transistor is in cutoff when base to emitter junction and base to collector junctions are reversed bias. When do we say that the transistor is in saturation? When both base to emitter junction and base to collector junction are forward bias, all right? And the current IB remains constant. When current IB remains constant, the collector current keeps on increasing from some particular limit, and then it shows that the transistor is in saturation region. A DC load line, this is a new concept. DC load line will be helpful for understanding the advanced biasing circuits, that is a fixed bias and a voltage divider biasing. So here what you happen to see, this straight line which is drawn, it is drawn by taking the intercepts, that is 0 and IC and 0 and VCC. So IC saturation, this is the maximum current that can flow in the transistor uh, in the forward bias condition or in the saturation condition rather. And VCC is the maximum voltage that can be occurred in cutoff region. So by joining this line, joining these two coordinates, you get a DC load line. This is how you define your DC load line. Problem based on this, determine whether or not the transistor is in saturation, assuming VCE is equal to 0.2 volts. So find out the maximum collector current in the saturation, which is going back over here. You apply a KCL and find out this. You know VCC, here VCE sat is given, resistance RC is given. So take a difference of this. IC is nothing but VCC minus VCE sat upon the resistance 1K. So that will give you your value, which is equal to 9.8 milliamperes. IB, base current IB, here you know this voltage VCE is given. Voltage VCE, VBB is given. So apply KVL in this particular loop. So VBB minus VBE upon RB should give you the value of current IB. Here it is done. VBB minus VBE upon RB, which is equal to 0.23 milliamperes. Here VBE is equal to 0.7 volts. This is a standard value for a silicon NPN transistor. So collector current is beta DC into IC. Beta DC is given to be 50 ohms. Value of IB you have calculated from this relation. So this will give you 11.5 amperes. So when this is your now calculated value and this is your saturated value that has been obtained. So which shows that your transistor configuration is capable of pushing the transistor in saturation region. That completes my session.